In this lesson, we will learn more about ListView. And in this ListView, we will try and create a custom item within the ListView. So what do we mean by that? So we will create an application about sports persons. For each sports person, we will show three text views which show the name, country and sports. And on the right side, we will show the image of the sports person. So let us start designing this app. The first thing is, on my default app, I have deleted my hello world and I will go to layouts and just add a linear layout vertical and set the layout width and the height to match parent. Once I have done this, I'll just go to containers and add a list view to the screen, and I will give it the name, say list view. So now this design of our list view is over. So what we also need to create here is a custom design for the list view. So how will we do it? We will go to resources, layout, and we will say we need to create a new layout. So a new layout resource file, and what name do we give it? Let's just give it the name, say custom 1, and the root element we want is linear layout, and with this our custom element is there. So we have a custom1.xml, which is what we have given the name as custom1, so custom1.xml setup, and we have a linear layout here. So now what do we want to show here? So in this linear layout, we will show three, so 1, 2, 3 text views and an image here. So to show this 3 text views, we need a horizontal. So let's just make the orientation of this linear layout to horizontal. And now within this horizontal linear layout, I'll add a linear layout vertical so that I can put the 3 text views in it, and on the right side I will add an image. So let's just go and add a linear layout vertical to it. So we have added a linear layout vertical, and now within the linear layout vertical we will just add 3 text views. So we have our 3 text views within the linear layout vertical. Now once we have had our 3 text views within the linear layout vertical, we need an image on the right side. So in the linear layout horizontal, we will go and add a image view. And let's just give it any default image right now. So here in the linear layout vertical, we have in the linear layout horizontal, we have added text views and we have added an image view. Now we want this image to just fit itself and the rest of the space to go to the text view. So to the linear layout vertical, we will give the layout weight as 1, and to the image view we will not give any linear layout. So it will just fit its own size. So now we have a design wherein it fits its size. The only thing we will do is now we need to just increase the font sizes so that the text will be better visible. So let's just set the text sizes. So text sizes, let's set this to 30 and the other to say 18 and 18. So with this, now our design is fundamentally over. Now what we need to do is figure out how to write this application. So let's go to our main activity XML. So in the main activity XML, first let's just try and create all the values we want to use. So we want to use first the names of the players. So let's just create a string array which is say players, and let's say we are talking about 3 players. So let's just add them. So Roger, Federer, Lionel Messi, and Virat Kohli. So 3 players we are talking about in this app. Let's add their country. So let's create a string array countries, and let's just give them, so Switzerland, Argentina, and India. Then we need to show their sports, so which game they play. So let's create that. So tennis, football, cricket. And we now need to show their images. So for the images, what we'll do, we will copy those images into drawable. So let me just copy these images and paste them into drawable. So now I have 3 images here. So let me just create them. So resources would be integer array and images. And what are the 3 images? So it will be r.drawable.Federer, r.drawable.Messi, and r.drawable.Virat. So now we have created all the values we wanted to do. We also are using a list view, so let's just declare our list view and say call it list view. So we have now designed this. So with this we have designed it. Now let us go to how do we create the custom element first, and then we will come back to it. So to create the custom element, what we will do is we will need to create a new class. So we will go to new Java class. Let's give it the name, say sports adapter. So because it's showing the sports fields, and adapter, why? Because to a list view we typically add an adapter. In the previous lessons we had seen how to add an array adapter. So that is why we are saying it to be adapter. And its superclass or its parent is a class known as BaseAdapter. We need to set it and we click on OK. So with this our sports BaseAdapter is ready. Now we just need to add all the methods we want to put it. So we go to generate, and we generate all the methods we want to put here. So with this we have generated all the methods that we want this to implement. The first thing we will do is we need to store all the values so that we can display them. So what all do we need? We need the string array of the player names. So let's just put it a name, say V players. Then we need V countries, and we need V sports. We just put in a character V so that it's easier for us to understand. And then we need to store our images. So integer image V, again images. So these are the pieces we need to construct here. Then we need to save all these values. So when we call it, we will set all the values up. So one way to do it is put it in the constructor. So let's use the constructor to give it all the values. So let's create its constructor. So public sports adapter, and what all values do we need? When we call it from main activity, we will need main activity. So let us pass it. We will learn why would we need main activity. So let's call it M1. Then we have the string array of players. Then we have the string array of countries. We have the string array of sports, and we have the integer array of images. These are the fields we need to pass. These are the resources we need to pass. So let's also just create here a main activity with the field context, give it the value context, the field name context. and so that we can save all the parameters which were passed in the constructor. So context gets the value m1, v players gets the value players, v countries gets the value countries, and v sports gets the value sports, and v images gets the value images. So we had put in an error, so which is why it was showing red. We had forgotten to put the array sign here. So now we have the constructor and we have created all the values. So now let's just go ahead and implement all the methods here. So get count will tell us how many of these two we have created. So how many will we create? We will create as many as there are players. So we will just put it as vplayers.length. So the length of this array will tell us how many players were there. So this is fine. The next two we will not do any editing in them, and we need to go to this guy. So view. So this is the method which is most important. So how do we do it? The first thing we need to do here is do view is equal to, and what we got from there, the context which we saved here, dot get layout inflator. So the layout that we have created for this custom item, we are getting that layout inflator using this dot inflate. And what do we want to inflate? R dot layout dot, which is the layout we have defined for this. So this was custom1.xml, which would be the layout we have defined here. So which is why we are inflating it. So this is basically saying we want to create a layout with this layout custom1, and we pass the value. So this is the standard way we will do it. So important part here is this custom1 is the same as the name we had given to this here, custom1.xml. So the XML we had created here, which was the layout of the custom element. So now once we have done it, let's also create all our components of this customs. So what are there? There are three text views. Text view 2, text view 3, and there is an image view. So now let's just declare them and create them. So we have text view tv1, tv2, tv3, and we have an image view. Let's call it image. So these were the components we had created here. So let's now initialize them. So tv1 is equal to text view. So typically in main activity we had done find view by ID because we were in the main activity. So here we will do view dot find view by ID because we are inside this view. So in the context of this view, so that's why we will say r dot id dot text view. Similarly, we will create tv2 is equal to text view dot find view by id r dot id dot text view 2, and tv3 is equal to text view dot find view by id r dot id dot text view 3. Then we need to create that image. So image is equal to image view view dot, again important, find view by id r dot id dot image view. So all R4 are initialized. Now we need to set values there. So what are the values we need to set? So here we are getting this parameter I. So this I refers to the ith custom that we are creating. So the first, so what values would we set there? So tv1 dot set text. Now for the ith custom, what will be the player name? It will be v players I. That's what it will be. Now for the same sports person, what will be their country? Set text V countries I. What will be their sports? So TV3 dot set text V sports I. So we have set these values. Then we need to set that image. So how will we set that image? Image dot set image resource. And what should be that image resource? It will be V images I. So now we have set all these pieces here. One final thing is remaining. And what is it? That when we click on this custom, we need to show that we are able to handle that click and show something. So let's put up a pop-up or a toast message there that when we click on it. So first we will need to add that listener. So how do we do it? So view dot set on click listener, new view dot on click listener. So now this on click listener, so typically we used to do on the button. So now it is on this whole view. Wherever we click on this view, this on click listener will get fired. And what do we want to do is we want to just show a pop-up. So let's say toast dot make text. So what do we want to show here? So context is, we know the context has been given by the main activity. So context is context. Then what do we want to show? We want to show the name of the player. So V players I. And what is the length we want to show it? So toast dot length short. And then dot show. So the standard way we have learned how to do it. And with this is ready. Now notice we are getting a small error here. So V players I is giving us an error. And how do we solve this error? We will just put a final here. So remember, we will need to do this. So why do we need to do it is not important. It's important that when we are accessing this I here, we just need to make this final. So now with that, this is there, and instead of returning null, we are just returning this view. So now we have created this view and we will return it. So this, for each I, in some sense, we are creating this view. Now let's go back to our main activity, and now in the main activity, let's do our remaining part. So what do we need to do here? As we have learned, we will create a list view. We'll get fetch a list view and we will just create an adapter and set it here. So let's do it. So list view is equal to list view, and here we are just doing find view by id r.id.list view. So remember, because we are in main activity.java, the main part, so we are not doing view.find, we are just doing find view by id. Next we need to create an adapter so that we can set it to the list view. So let's create our sports adapter and give it the name adapter is equal to new sports adapter. And what all values we had passed it? We had passed it the main activity, so we will pass it this. And then what are the other values we will pass here? The values we needed there, which was players, countries, sports, and the images. These were the parameters we had required to be passed. Now we have passed them, so our adapter is now created. And what we will do is we will set it. So it's list view dot set adapter. So now we have set it to the list view, and with this our app is ready. So let's now run the app and check it. So we know build takes a little bit of time, so we have to be patient as the build is happening. Now we are getting an error here. Let's build it again. So the build will just take a little bit of time, and we have to always be slightly patient. The build has happened. It is installing it. And we have it. So we have our 3 sports persons displayed here. So these are the 3 text views. So Roger Federer, Switzerland tennis, and on the right side we have this image. So we created this definition with the 3 text views and an image, and now all the 3 items in this list view are with the same model. Now let us see whether we are able to handle the clicks. I clicked on Roger Federer, I got Roger Federer. Let's do on Lionel Messi. Yes, the pop-up is showing Lionel Messi. Let's click on Virat Kohli. Yes, it is Virat Kohli. So this is perfectly fine as we can see it. Okay.